Hello, this is the April post-board meeting video. We had a lot going on this afternoon, this evening, and wonderful board meeting. Probably the most jam-packed board meeting that I've had since I've been here at Reed Spring, with so many wonderful things that directly connect to our strategic plan. So I look forward to updating you on those items. One of the things that we start off as we jump right in, we were able to swear in as a new board member, Lisa Boyd. We want to congratulate her on an election and becoming part of the Reef Spring School District Board of Education, and also want to again welcome and we're excited to have Jolene Powell back serving with us, and she's a great board member and does a lot to advance school districts. So we appreciate both of those two. They jumped right in. Although organization of the leadership of the board has remained the same with no changes. Want to, as I scroll down through the board agenda, just going to take a second here. Want to welcome the following employees as new employees of the school of our Wolf family. New employees, or at least in a new position. Richard Murphy, I want to give a shout out to. He's now transitioned to our head custodian position. He had already been serving in the district and is doing remarkable well. Was also the employee of the month. Samantha Chandler is transferring from the elementary school to our early childhood center to serve as a para. Autumn Somis, she is our new intermediate school 5th grade teacher straight from Sparta, and we're looking forward to having her as part of our staff. Myron Kaufman, Myron is a primary school PE teacher and coach. Seth Shockley is our new elementary school PE teacher. Haley Westrick is our intermediate school special education special services teacher. Spencer Champion is middle school social studies teacher, and Carmela Rowe will be our new middle school custodian. Welcome to all of you as part of our wonderful group here in the district. Going through one of the things, we want to recognize Perry Phillips, who has taken his own personal time to become a master level trained board member through the Missouri School Board Association, and we were able to recognize and support him tonight and just appreciate him and his work. We updated the board on strategy 5 of the strategic plan, which is all about branding and marketing. We have partnered with Rebel, a branding firm out of Springfield, to help design or help us really think about our identity as a district. They have spent some time already in some discovery phases to walk through the buildings, get a good picture of our brand. So they are helping to ensure that we are really, what the image we're portraying in our community is world class. Also that we have a brand that everybody can know and attach onto. Some of that means looking at our school logo, which we love, the logo in the back, and making sure that we're using the right colors on signage, and that we're using good practices in regards to, like world-class practices in regards to letterhead and font styles and all the different components of where our brand is out there in the community. And so we'll be working with Rebel over the course of the next year in solidifying some parameters of world-class marketing for our district. And so we're excited about them and look forward to advancing that strategic plan. More to come on that, on branding and marketing and strategies in the coming few weeks. We celebrated again the tax levy increase. Thank you everyone who supported the Reef Spring Prop RS, really advanced the district significantly in the strategic plan. We're able to move forward on a number of items. We appreciate that. One of the big things that the board supported and decision that we have made, we are now transitioning the district to a masking being optional, for masks being worn at school to be optional. We understand that this is still continues to be a diverse, controversial topic with a variety of opinions, but we've been analyzing our school data. We haven't had a case since early February. We also are recognizing in our community the number of people who are not wearing masks, that people are really kind of opening up. And so we feel that we're kind of at that point where it needs to be optional. Students still can wear masks to school. Staff members and employees, we certainly encourage you to wear masks if that's what you need to do. We're going to maintain all of our other protocols, the cleanliness protocols, the different things that the building levels have done to adjust lunches and playground time and all those different things. We'll continue those items, as well as some social distancing, but we're not going to require the mask to be worn. It's getting to a point where we feel like we can make this decision and move forward with the understanding that if we see a surge, as we work with the health department, if we see a surge and increase in numbers, excuse me, that we would go back into a required masking. But our observation has been it's getting harder and harder to even to get kids to keep those masks on as they're seeing people and adults and everyone in the community not wearing masks. So we are sensitive to the health needs of our families. We recognize that, but we're ready to move forward as the data with the data we currently have move forward. So the board was united in that. We discussed tonight future planning. With the passing of the levy, we began jumping right into kind of our phase 2 of project planning, which is part of the strategic plan. You can see those project plans, or at least the strategies in our strategic plan that can be found on the website. When we talk about the two big pieces that we've talked about with our patrons, with our strategic plan, all the way as we've needed dollars in a tax levy increase to support staffing and all those other things. One thing we know is that in order to expand early childhood education, we're going to need more rooms. We're going to need more space to be able to accommodate the number of families and kids that are out there in our community that will begin to utilize those services. So we need to start designing and kind of working with an architect to figure out what that might look like with our existing space, or do we need to create new space? The other strategy in the strategic plan is that we're going to build a new career center. Our career center is significantly old, it's out of date, and we need to market that. I've talked a lot about that in a variety of forums. We'll have a lot of information come up. So tonight's conversation was about partnering with an architect and a construction manager at risk to help us begin to design what those projects would look like. I also have a vision, kind of a third project vision that I shared with the board tonight. There's a lot of pieces that we're gonna have to work through as we look at funding this. But I feel like one of the things I've recognized and I've heard about since I've arrived here is that while we do live in the most beautiful part of the Midwest with the lake, our community has no playground. We have no area where families can congregate and gather. And I just have a vision with all the land that we have, some of the land that we have that we, behind the middle school and some of that property, that we identify some space where we can build a community playground that's ADA accessible, maybe a couple pavilions so families can come and have lunch, maybe a couple ball fields so youth sports can participate over there, and we can maybe even have some adult sports going on so our kids can see their dads and moms playing in softball programs or other activities. Just feel like this is a void in our school district boundary that, when you see families that are just going to the Walmart playground, or there's just not options, or you have to go to the rec center or Branson. So I would like to see that project kind of embedded in that. So these are things that a design process that we will need to go through. You probably are asking, well, how are you going to fund this? These projects will not be used by the levy increase. The levy increase was used to support the things that I've communicated in the past. We will be looking at proposing a no tax increase bond issue next April. That is on the strategic plan. It's kind of the phase 2 to, again, a no tax increase to be able to support the expansions of those areas. So we're going to take about a year in designing and looking at that. So a lot more to come on that. Let me get back down here as we scroll through. We have high school graduation coming up, obviously, shortly. So we discussed that. We look forward to having graduation at the Mansion Theater, and of course, prom's this weekend. One of the things I updated the board on is that we are now going to be allowing our classified employees, as we hire new people. We've had kind of an old rule that you could only bring in 4 years of experience to apply to our salary schedule. And so that kind of limited on when you're recruiting somebody. If they work 10 years in another district, you can only allow 4 of those years to be applied. Over the last few years, the HR committee and the district has tried to increase that. So now you can bring 7 years. And in theory, you'd like to be able to say, if you have relevant work experience, we're going to honor that work experience and put you on the salary placement where you deserve to be. But if you do that too quickly, then you're going to have new employees coming in that are making way more money than the employees that have been here. So what I propose is that we allow 2 years to be brought in, which would take, for example, so next year we would have been allowing 8 years of previous experience brought in as a new employee. Well, actually, instead of going to 8, we'll go to 9. Every year we'll bump it by 2 instead of just 1. It'll really help us recruit those world-class employees and expand those opportunities. The board adopted a policy regulation 3165, just the federal procurement standards. It's a very simple, something we had to do for federal regulation purposes. Um, we are partnering with Evangel. We've already partnered with Evangel University, but we are now partnering with them to provide a year-long student teaching experience. The idea behind that is we can identify some master teachers who we can bring, or some high-quality prospective teachers that we can bring into the district and have them be on our staff for a whole entire year, get them trained, and then hopefully if they do well, then they interview well, then they will get offered a position in the district. My experience has been that when we've done this in other districts that I've been in, those teachers are kind of way ahead their peers because of that whole year-long experience of seeing instruction. Typical student teaching experience is only for a semester, so we're really excited about that. And I want to give a shout out to Dr. Angie McGurk for her work on that. She has been her baby, her vision, and she's done a lot to get that ball rolling. The board also approved um, to cover the cost of increased insurance. Our insurance consortium went up by 3.5%, so the board has now voted to cover that cost so it doesn't go to the employee, and so that raises the amount of board paid insurance to $525. Very good news. Um, Along with that, the board approved all the salary schedules that were proposed that we've been working on. So all those salary schedules will go into effect beginning in July for all of our employee groups. We appreciate Prop RS and our community supporting that. So those salary schedules, again, what we did is we looked at all the board and I and the team looked at all the salaries in the district, and we tried to get them as close to that average of our competition schools, which again are Nixon, Branson, Willard, Republic, and Ozark. Those are school districts we're really recruiting against. So very excited about that. New staff positions, strategic plan stuff. We are adding one and a half positions in our parents as teacher programs. That'll take us to 2 full-time people and 1 part-time. It's a good starting place to really expand, getting into homes, helping families with those pre-kindergarten children, helping them with all those basic educational needs so that they can be quality parents, and then also marketing for us early childhood so that we can have the numbers to be able to recruit to bring into our early childhood center. Very excited about that. We also, thanks to Ms. Marie, who's been visionary in finding a way to add an additional teacher, an additional classroom space to expand a full day early childhood classroom. So we were able to do that. It's going to be pretty snug in the building, but she's been able to work that out. Huge part of strategy 1. Liz Smith today updated the board on 2 really big areas. One, we're revamping our entire focus room structure, the kindergarten through 6th grade classrooms. They are now going to be called reset classrooms. We are hiring behavior intervention paraprofessionals for every one of those rooms. So a para will be in there, but then we're also hiring certified teachers for each of those rooms, or placing certified teachers in each of those rooms. And those certified teachers and paras will be trained on best practices, research methods of behavior interventions, behavior supports, how do you develop behavior plans. The advantage of putting 2 employees in that room, and it allows the para to be in that reset room, and then now that certified teacher can go throughout the building, can model and support and help teachers, can work with a kid, can observe kids, can help behavior plans, can be a support to the administrative team. The impact that this will have on student behavior is so significant that it'll impact significantly as well our academic and student achievement. We are also hiring 2 new social workers. Huge deal. They're going to be servicing kindergarten or preschool through 12th grade. Liz Smith is providing complete direction on that. Those job postings are online. If you know social workers, please encourage them to go to our job posting. It's on our district website. It's also posted on Indeed. We are excited about what they will be able to do in terms of not only partnering with families and providing some supports and resources, but helping with trauma that's going on in the school setting, providing some of those supports. So man, it's going to be a huge impact. That will also free up some of the work that our counselors are doing so that they can really embed that counseling model, provide more structure. So you look at kind of this strategic plan, it's this holistic approach of academic improvements that we're doing, but also that social and emotional improvement. So, we have kids that can't really do the academic piece if we don't deal with that social and emotional piece. So we're finally putting some of these pieces together that long term are going to have significant impact for our kids. Really, really excited. The final position that was added, strategy one of the strategic plan, it looks at addressing and adding an administrator at the Early Childhood Center. As we've worked with Mrs. Murray on a vision for that, the recommendation from her was that we need to add an assistant principal to help build, so that helps free her up to build that early childhood center up, while she has that administrative support to run and help support that primary and kind of blend into those two programs. So together, these two individuals will really help advance the strategic plan. So that was, again, a strategy in the strategic plan, and we're moving forward actually with interviews this week. Pretty excited about that. We did the salary schedules. School calendar has been updated. You can see that on the website. Make sure you're just checking in on that. I know we communicate. Make sure you check our website because of that last weird water day when we had the water main or the water well issue. And then we have a special board meeting on the 28th just to talk through a few different items, specifically to talk through architect and yeah. I went through that quickly. 16 minutes and probably our longest board meeting, which really wasn't too long, but just a great board meeting. I can tell you, we are becoming a world-class district. People are hearing about that, are seeing that in our community, in our region. We're starting to have people outside of our even just local area start to question and ask, what's going on down there? What are you guys doing? I'm hearing great things. Our candidate pools, we're starting to see a lot of those candidates coming from the Nixes, the Branson, the Republics, those other school districts. So we're starting to really feel like the tide is turning and people are seeing. It's still a process. At the end of the day, nothing matters but student learning and student outcomes. And so we're working hard to address that and implement what the community has tasked us with in the strategic plan. I give a shout out to a Board of Education who's visionary, who's focused on children, who's willing to make tough decisions for the right of kids. We are really doing something very unique and special. And so I appreciate all your support of that. Exciting things to come. We look forward to the next month as we get to update you on the next month of work. Appreciate everyone. Have a great night.